coolest D, with you telling us what your slogan is for the year and how you came up with it.
Okay. Well, my slogan for the year, like I was explaining before, is take away power, create new experiences, and redirect energy. And we all have someone that's like taking our power away, which is energy, whatever have you. And it's important to snatch that power back. And as you snatching that power back, create a new redirect your energy, and you create a new experience. It's to forget that, kind of like leaving in the past, leaving in the rear view. And I think that's what everyone should do, because we all got stuff we all going through. This is life. So I thought that would be great to come up with this year.
And so, how did you get there? What made you create a slogan like that? Like, what made it necessary for you to say, "I'm going to take away power. I'm going to redirect energy"? Like, what led you there?
Well, we all got stories. So I was going through a bad breakup, and we all been there. So I went through a bad breakup, and it's like, I was like, I was like, excuse me, I need to take my power back. And I was like, man, I said I got to do something to redirect energy. And that's when I started looking into becoming a personal trainer. And it also helped me create a new experience by training Muay Thai. So yeah, it's this year has been a blessing for me, and that's what I came up with the C, as you see on my shirt. My C is open doors. So and my other slogan is everyone has a C. So I always ask people, what is your C? So I know I'm jumping into two different slogans, but yeah, that's I got so many.
That's okay. And I'm glad you brought up the C's and everybody has their C. So before we get deeper into asking you questions and learning a little bit more about who Coolest D or Dion is, I'm just going to read
Mhm.
your bio from your website. So it says Dion R. Peak started C's Open Doors February 2022. The purpose of him starting C's Open Doors came from him being born with cerebral palsy August 14th, 1985. He was told he had limitations, but he wanted to focus more on what he could do versus what they said he couldn't do, which led to him to start Muay Thai training at the Beta Academy in 2012, which gave him the motivation and courage to become a personal trainer, to not only help the differently able community, but also to encourage people that limits only exist if you let them. Um,
Mhm.
so that's super, super dope. So you talk a little bit about the C. So let's get into your C. What's Dion's C?
Coolest. So that's where it originally came, but that is my C. And as far as like you was explaining, being born with case of cerebral palsy, like I didn't see another me out there. So and being born with it as a male, it's a lot different because as a male, we gotta kind of be macho, like provide, like we gotta it's different ways that we have to be as far as protectors. So that was different coming up. So my limitations wasn't really I didn't really have that much limitations, which I'm blessed for, but it was still challenging growing up, kind of. But I didn't really have that many limitations. Slightly, just some slight.
Can you give us some examples of the limitations that you feel that you did have?
Well, Well, because like I mean, I know if you Google cerebral palsy, and I never, just to give you a background story, I never called it a disability. I always say it's a situation. I never wanted to be associated with that word because my case was so light that I didn't even want to claim it. Not that I was ashamed of what I have. I just like, nah, I just walk with a little limp. This is what I have. So I don't want that label because we all see that blue label with the wheelchair. I despise that because that's a coffee stain on a fresh white shirt. So I'm like I despise that. So what I would do is I just say I have a situation because I didn't want to be branded because I didn't want no golf clap for me doing something like great, like, oh, that's great you did that because you have situation. I didn't want that. So um I never I kind of went through life as I didn't have it. Like, for example, when I got my driver's license and they asked, do you have a disability? No, I never led with that. So that's what it took me a long time to get my story out. So limitations wasn't really so much. Um, Even though I said I had them, it wasn't it wasn't that much that really stopped me from doing anything.
Wow, that's what's up. So thinking about, because before we had the conversation with Ebony, and again, shout out to Ebony P Ministries, I
Hmm.
didn't know much about cerebral palsy. So she definitely enlightened me and taught me a lot about what it is and what it isn't. So that's super dope that you also lead this life where you're like, well, that's not going to label me or put me in the
Hmm.
box. But was your family also that way with you too? Like, well, Dion fine, like it's not nothing wrong with him, like he's okay. Was your family also that supportive with you?
Honestly, not really. I mean, no, they love me. Don't get me wrong, they love me, but um, and I love my family, but they wanted me to just kind of use that as a crutch. Like, okay, you have this, and that's cool. And I thank my Lord and Savior for this. I was just like, nah, that's not me. I always thought outside of that box. So my thing was to exceed the expectations. Like, as they say on the bio, what they say what I can't do. Oh, you can't drive. I smacked that out there. I drove. You know what I'm saying? Oh, you can't. There's certain things you can't do. Uh, it's like working out this way. I smacked that out the room. As far as, oh, you need to get a therapist, I'm my own therapist. I never went to therapy a day in my life. So um, and exuding that confidence, my family they would kind of say, well, you got this situation, and they were supportive, but honestly, I think they a little bit surprised that I exceeded expectations and that I have a confidence about myself that they didn't see coming. So what love though? What love? They gave me love, but it's only so much they can do because when I go in the outside world, I had to deal with that. They couldn't be there when I went through my dark times. They couldn't be there for that. So I had to learn on the fly.
Yeah, it's so great that you are redefining what it means to have cerebral palsy. When I
Yeah.
was in middle school, we got a new guidance counselor, and
Hmm.
he had cerebral palsy, so that was like the first time that I really saw someone with it. And I was a child, right? I was like, maybe I was,
Hmm.
I don't know, however old people are when they're in seventh grade. But
12 and 13.
12 and 13. Okay, thanks, teacher. But I do think that with anything that's not common, the first thing that you see, that becomes your reference of truth, and it may
Hmm.
not be true, right? So it's like if you see someone with an extreme case of something, then you sort of think that it's kind of like how white people see black people on TV, right? It's like if you're always being cast as the villain or the murderer or whatever, then you're a
Yes, right.
criminal, right?
Facts. Yes,
In real
yes.
life, then you must be a criminal. So, um,
Yeah.
what I do love is that we get to see so many facets of so many different people, because the more that we do, the more we get to realize that it's no different than me being more emotional than Chanel, or you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's
Hmm.
just like everyone has their own personalities and demeanors and things about themselves that are some are more prominent than others. So it just kind of speaks to the fluidity of how dynamic this situation is. You know
Hmm.
what I mean?
Yeah.
How it's not like, oh, well, you must be, here's your handicap sticker and
Yeah, yeah, I despise that, and it's like what I did was I Googled, I used to just Google cerebral palsy, and I would look at all these different cases, and it would get me emotional because I was like, man, I'm so blessed, because certain things that people went through, I didn't have to go through none of that. I had one surgery, and I just, like I said, I had to learn on the fly. And me getting into fitness, no one told me to get into fitness. I decided to get into that because I like mixed martial arts. So that was my thing. But I was still kind of flying under the radar. I didn't want to get the story out until I was just on Instagram scrolling, and a lady that I follow had Ebony come across my screen, and this was like a year ago, and I looked and I said, I know exactly what that is, and I it took a lot of guts for me to do that, like just kind of telling her my story, but I felt like that I got somebody relating to me, and she just did it with no fear, and I'm sitting here with a milder case, and I'm like, why you can't do that? You don't got no excuse. So, that's when I DM'd her, and I was like, this is amazing what you doing, and the rest was history. She really encouraged me to get my story out. So I really owe a lot to her for that, because if she wouldn't have came across my screen, Seas Open Doors wouldn't be here, or you wouldn't be hearing about my story. So that's what made me kind of get the guts to just say, man, what am I sitting on this for? And she would tell me, like, get your story out, and I was nervous. I was like, no, like I said, as a man, if we not taught to be vulnerable, we got to have that tough skin, and once again, not only that, I just didn't want to go into the label. I didn't want to go into labeling, because a lot of people, when they see me, they don't know. If, like, I'm from the crowd of people that don't know, but if you see me like walk across the room, they'll be like, oh, okay, I can see, but it's so mild. So I never wanted to get labeled that, but I said, if I get it out, now I'm labeled. So that's why it took me so long.
You know what? To me, that's no different than anybody having something that they have shame for, right?
Mm-hmm.
But
Mm-hmm.
when we're able to hear, and thank God for people like Ebony, who are courageous enough to come out and have that vulnerability and be
Yes,
transparent and own every part of them, because it gives people freedom to accept themselves, and to accept
definitely.
their situations. But it's just like when people come out and, say like they're depressed, or what, or they were raped, or they were molested, or they were in an abusive relationship, and then somebody hears that and they're like, wow, like she just owned it, or he just owned it. Like I should be able to do that too. So I think
Yeah.
that the more that we have these conversations, and obviously that's the whole vision for Chanel and I, is to create a space where people are comfortable enough to accept and share who they really are. Right, because every time when they do that, I feel like a little piece of us heals just a little bit more.
Yeah.
Yes, yeah, and it takes you out of the box too, to say, okay, well, I'm going to own it. This is what I was born with, but I'm not letting it define who I am. And
Yes.
it gives you a whole different look, because looking at you right now, like I wouldn't be able to tell. I can only speak for myself, but I would, like, if you hadn't told me that you have cerebral palsy, I would be like, no way, like I can't tell that. Not saying that there's a,
Yeah.
but
No,
um,
I know what you mean. Yeah, it's just like so many people are misinformed about that. Like when I was going for my driver's license, and I wanted to be honorable. I was 20, and I said, yeah, I do have a I wanted to be like truthful. And the lady was like, oh, you need to get a note from your doctor, and if you have seizures. And I'm looking at her like, uh, nah, I don't have none of that. No disrespect to people that does, but I was just looking at her, and she started running down this case, and I'm like, that told me right there at 20 that Dion, people are misinformed about what's going on. So, thank God that you have the luxury to check no, you know what I'm saying? So go ahead and do that, because like I said, I don't own it. So people are so misinformed about cerebral palsy, quote unquote. Like I never did research and wanted to find out. I know it's something dealing with the brain, but I'm not. I don't have the information on it, because it's like I never cared, because I always pushed over the limit. Okay, I got it. I can still do what people can do. If I can't do it like you, I can do it differently, but it's gonna get done. So that's how I rock.
Yeah, I love that you said that, because I know that that's really big for Ebony as well. She always says, I'm not going to let you call me disabled. And she actually, will run down the definition and will make you never want to say that word again, child.
Yeah, I already. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
it's,
But,
it's
she always says differently abled. And what I appreciate about that is that it's saying I can still do it. I'm gonna find a different way, right? Like there's a thousand ways to skin a cat, right? It's just like when if people want to be a millionaire, everybody's not going to be a millionaire the same way.
Yes,
Somebody
ma'am.
might win the lottery, somebody might do real estate, somebody might invest in stocks, somebody might trade, right? There's different ways, but
Hmm.
they're all still millionaires, right?
Definitely.
That's a great example, and I love that we're not all meant or designed or we're created to do it the same way either.
Exactly.
Really love that term, differently able, and it just goes to show that you can do whatever you put your mind to. Because listen, I was not born with cerebral palsy, and I do not work out every day. You and Ebony get up, you guys do your workouts, and I'm always like, wow, like you guys are so
Yeah. You can do it. I believe in you. You can. Yeah, I
awesome.
mean, it's well, it's things that I'm learning now that I got my story out. Like when I'm in doing Muay Thai training and I'm doing one arm chin ups, and the coach is looking at me like, Dion, I can't do those. And I was like, well, I can't head kick you, but I can probably kick like right here. And it was like, and I can't do one arm chin ups, so you got me beat. So I was just like, I didn't even think it was that big just to do one arm chin ups, but everybody's standing there looking like wow. And then in my beta academy, I'm the only one there with a situation. So they said I inspired them, and I didn't even know what getting my story out would do. That's what I was hesitant, but now that I got it out, that was the best decision I could have made because people are like, man, you inspire me. And I'm talking about black belts and karate and jujitsu and Muay Thai, and they coming to me saying I inspire them. I'm like, wow, okay, so that's great.
That is awesome. And I'm trying to be cognizant about asking another question because we're almost at our very first break. But I know when we come back, I definitely want you to explain what Muay Thai is because I've never heard of this. So I'm not even sure what
Wow.
that is and
Oh,
what
wow.
led
Okay.
you interested in that. So that's definitely where we pick up when we come back. But before something quick, just tell everybody because we didn't do this at the beginning, but tell everybody quick, like your name, how old you are, what you do for a living, if you want to share that, and where are you from? Where are you located?
Okay. Well, my name is Dion Peak. I am 37 in August. The 14th is coming up. So I am an overnight freight runner at Harris Teeter, which is in Virginia. I'm located in Washington, D.C. That's where I'm from. And I've been doing that for 15 years and counting. So,
Oh,
and also, I'm a personal trainer. Looking to be doing that full time pretty soon. Specializing in zone workouts and just helping not only the differently able community, but anyone that wants to work out. That's what we're here for.
awesome. All right. Well, yes, we will be right back with Coolest D. This is Brunch with Bestie Show. Thank you for tuning in. We'll be right back.
All right.
Welcome back to Brunch with Besties.
We're back.
We are back. Okay, so Coolsty had to leave us just for a second, but he will be right back. But I think up there he is. So Coolsty,
Sorry about
let
that.
no problem.
Great.
Um, tell us about Muay Thai and what it is and how you got into it.
Okay, so Muay Thai is a form of mixed martial arts. It specializes in punches, elbows, knees, kicks, and clinching, which is um, grabbing your opponent from from by the neck. Um, I got into that in 2005. I was watching the UFC, and I was like, wow, that would be nice to do that. And I started earlier as in 2000 and that was 12, I think, when I started training that, but I wasn't so adamant about getting my story out. It's like when it become the punching, I got like a boxing background, so I was good. Kicking is like I was like, I'm gonna have to really break down, and I wasn't as comfortable as getting the story out like I am now. And now that I'm like 10 years older, I just came and I said, man, hey man, you got to do this. So um, I went to my coaches and I told them, look, this is what I got. I led with that versus me coming in 10 years younger, and I was kind of trying to just hide under the radar. I mean, they was going no anyway. So, but it was different for me just getting it out, and it's like, okay, just instead of holding the pads like head level, just hold it like body or leg level. So I just got to do it differently. But yes, Muay Thai is a form of mixed martial arts, and it's fun. It's a great workout, and I recommend anyone they can do it. We got women, we got all men, all different shapes and sizes doing Muay Thai, so it's great.
So that's interesting that you didn't let it deter you, right? So you
Yeah.
knew what it was. You were like, okay, I want to do this, and then you're like, okay, the kicking, they're gonna know. But
Hmm.
you could have kind of used that to go back into your shell a little bit and say, well, let me do boxing or something more
Yeah.
upper body where they won't know, where I can kind of conceal it a little bit more. But like, I guess I'm wondering what made you at that point step into vulnerability and say, you know what, I'm just gonna expose myself or reveal myself.
Well, I gotta go back to this. It goes again to that breakup. It's funny how a breakup with someone, and you're like, I'm gonna show that person. I'm gonna show them that I'm not. You know what I'm saying? Especially when you're the one that's been broke up with, and that never happened to me. I got the carpet snatched from under me. I was like, man, I woke up one day being in love, and next day I'm out. I'm like, okay, that was a punch in the face I wasn't expecting. So I went through my grieving process, and 5 days after that, on my mother's birthday, I said, I'm just gonna go back in the Beta Academy. So that led me there. I was still going through the breakup. We all been there, and I was just like, but I'm gonna go do this. And walking in that door, I just said I have nothing to lose. Like if I'm not going to be the best version of myself now, like now I have no excuses. Like okay, you had the woman you thought you was going to marry, that's done. Now I mean, there's no reason. What a better time to get your story out, and let's start with doing something you love, which is Muay Thai. And that led to, as I would say, the personal training thing. And I tell my coaches all the time, I said, if it wasn't for me coming in this door, it wouldn't be seas open doors, no pun intended. So that helped me open the door. That's going to help other people open their door. So yeah, it was just a great experience, and that's why I just even when I'm tired, I'm doing 8 hours lifting water pallets. I still go there because that was like my birth for this new me. So yes.
Wow. Well, we're so sorry to hear about the breakup. But it looks like you allowed it to serve you positively, right? Like you said, okay, I'm kind of at a fork in the road, right? I thought I was gonna marry this person. I was in love, but now I'm gonna love on me, right? And I'm gonna recreate myself and become the best version um
Yeah.
of myself.
Yeah, it happens. It made me just be a better me. And to be honest, let me just say I probably was in less love more than I was in actual love. It happens. So I mean, maybe I was the grass had to get cut a little bit, and everything happens for a reason. Because if I was still in that relationship, I wouldn't be doing what I'm doing now. So that catapulted me to be a better person. Not to show her, but it's not about showing her. It's about just more so helping people. Now in the beginning, I was like, "Wow, wait till you see me," and now it's just like, okay, now I'm helping people. So the gift is more than a reward to you seeing me. I mean, you will see me, but it's not for her; it's for myself. So yeah, it definitely helped me.
I love that transparency in that, and I don't think we hear a lot of stories like that from men. So one thing about our show is we love the perspective of men and the things that men go through, especially Black men, because you don't hear about it a lot of times. Um,
Hmm.
so it is very refreshing to hear that you went through this breakup, and it was the first time that it had happened to you, where you were the one being broken up with. So it's like, okay,
Yeah,
well, heck. So then you found it somewhere deep in you to be like, okay, well, how can I be better for myself? And at first, we're human. We do have that, we can have that spirit in us to be like, well, I'm gonna show them like you made the wrong choice. But at the end, I'm glad you realize like this was never even about her. This wasn't about that relationship. This was really about me and what I
yeah,
need to do in my life to live out my purpose. So I think
yeah,
that's dope. Yeah.
definitely.
I think it's good to see and Chanel gonna rein me in here, but men respond positively to breakups. You know what I mean? And by positively I mean productive, right?
Yeah,
Because I think what because I think the assumption is always like, you break up with a guy or a guy breaks up with you, however it happens. Next week he's just with the next chick. So it's good to hear you, walk through the actual grieving process, right? Where it's like, okay, and how am I going to change this energy, right? Like how am I going to transform this? And you talked about your slogan for the year. How am I gonna let this stop taking power from me? And how am I gonna recreate myself into something, excuse me, that is positive for other people, that helps other people, and that creates positive energy? Because I don't
yes, definitely.
so I guess my question is, what made you take that approach versus like, let me just go find somebody else?
Well, I mean, and also like growing up, and this is what the men's side don't know about cerebral palsy. Growing up as far as dating, it was like I'll say in the beginning stage, it wasn't really bad for me, but it was like okay, they gonna like my profile, but once I'm like, can they deal with what's going on? And my aunt told me this when I was 16. I'll never forget when I had my first girlfriend. She said, "Don't never let a woman think they're doing you a favor because of your situation." That just stayed with me forever. So,
Shouts out to Auntie. The Auntie's been coming through lately on the
Oh,
show.
yeah,
Shouts
yes.
out to all
yeah,
the aunties.
yeah. Shout out to aunties, man. And she said that, and once I started working on myself, and I've been working on myself since I got my first job. So I always kind of knew how I wanted to look. I used to study people that I was like, well, the girl's looking at him. What is he doing? Okay, he's keeping himself like in shape, or he's keeping like some sort of jewelry, not just start studying people. So from that, I always had kind of like some confidence. That kind of shocks people because they think I'm not supposed to have that. So I always was good as far as with breakups when I'm doing it, when I'm doing it. But that
Oh, it's
one,
always fine when we the ones doing it.
yeah, that one was like because now I used to just say, oh, I'm 5-0. You know, what I'm saying to myself, I'm like, I'm 5-0. I never been broke up with because I'm this awesome guy. Like, not saying that I'm not to my own horn, but I'm like, I'm great. I treat a woman well. I got 4 sisters and a beautiful mother, so I know about women really well. So that was that. But once the carpet was snatched under me, I was like, oh man, I was just like, okay, I can go out dating again but I'll just be going into a circle. Now you're about to be 37. What is something that you haven't done that you need to do? You need to um, find your purpose. And I wrote down some things. I said, well, I like to communicate. I like music. But what do you like doing more than all that? You like working out. Like I work out in the bathroom at work, which is crazy. Like before I started working, it's like the rail, the rail that holds the stars, and I'm sitting there doing chin-ups. I got caught a couple times, but I still be going. So a person that works out at work, yeah, get him a personal trainer certification real quick. So I I just tapped into that and I said, not so much to make a profit. It's more so, like I was explaining, just to get the story out because I'm coming in a different lens. And they say, with Dion, there's a lot of personal trainers everywhere, but they don't have my story, not the story that I have. And not to being able to adjust to not just with cerebral palsy. If you're in a wheelchair, okay, we got weights. If you can't turn a certain way, see, I can adapt to that. Your average personal trainer ain't gonna know about muscle tightness, or maybe I can't lean this way, or maybe I can't lift it. I know all about that. I can adapt to that. That's why when me and Ebony do our workouts, which we're doing on the end of this month, check that out. We call it adaptable workouts because what you can't do, well, I'll say do it another way. If you can't lean to the left, lean to the right. So I know I gave y'all a lot there, but
No, that's dope. Sneaking to work out in the bathroom, yes, that must be your purpose. Because look,
yeah,
if you gonna sneak and do something, then yes, it's. I'm glad that you were able um to reshift and refocus and start this amazing business. Um, that's one of the other things that I don't think we see a lot is like men deliberately saying, "What's my purpose?" So, Chanel and I, and actually, Chanel, we have been slacking because the last couple episodes we have not asked our guests what their purpose is.
We absolutely
What
have
is going on with us? So, shame
shame,
on us.
shame,
Shame on us for that.
yes.
see,
But
that's why I
that's
needed to come on here to get y'all right.
clearly.
Really.
But
Fresh, yes.
I think when Todd was on, we were just like too taken aback about the story. So we were like, just talk. We
You're
don't
right.
have any questions. We're
You're right.
just gonna listen.
Appreciate
You
that.
can just
Appreciate
talk.
it.
but
Appreciate that.
but I think that that's really important too, is being deliberate about your purpose. And when you go through life changing or life altering events, right, such as a breakup or whatever, especially if you were thinking about marriage, right, then it
Mm,
does beg you to come back to center and be like, okay, what is my next step here? And is the step that I'm thinking about taking, is it aligned with my purpose? And by the way, what is my purpose? Who am I? What do I naturally like to do? And so I'm glad that you were able to make that connection. Like, you know what? Even if I'm in the bathroom, I'm gonna do chin ups. You
yeah, and
know?
I've been doing that for like over 10 years. Even before, I've been there 15 years. I've been doing bathroom workouts for 10 years. Sometimes they catch me, sometimes they don't. Sometimes I'm in my last set and they come in, I'm like, hey man, this is what I do. Then the people see me again and it's just like, okay, we know what he do. I think my favorite thing is when people that don't usually talk to me because I'm quiet, like I'm just quiet when I don't know someone. When the person that come in don't know me and they see me and they just like, I don't know whether to use the bathroom or leave. Like I don't know what this is about. Like I wasn't expecting somebody in here working out when I come to use the bathroom. So that's always kind of funny to me. But yeah,
Yeah. Yeah, they probably
definitely.
like, I'm walking into his space. This
Oh,
isn't a public restroom. This is his.
like, where am I at? But have you ever had coworkers like want to join you? Like, hey, like teach me how to do this, or
You know,
see you like
they probably kind of think it. They were like, he's kind of crazy. Like no, because I'll be doing, and they know that I train, so I'll be kind of shadow boxing in the aisle, and it's like, yeah, they be like, Dion is real nice, but it's like I don't know something about him. Don't get on this bad side. This man be working out in the bathroom. Like we all know he's nice, but nah, no one asked to join me. They just say, I don't know why you would do that. But now that they see I'm doing personal training, they're like, yeah, you should do that. Yeah, you've been working on the bathroom. I'm not surprised that you're doing some sort of training with some clients. So yeah, it's all been positive. It should be. And working on the bathroom, I wouldn't expect it to be negative energy.
exactly.
Yeah,
So that is super dope. I love that, and it like we said, like I think that is really a part of your purpose here on this earth. is to help people through movement and through moving their body, which is definitely something that we need right now. And I love how you said it's adaptable. So if you can't move a certain way, like you said, you have the know-how to kind of figure that out and make it more inclusive for everybody, especially our differently able community, so that they included in that and a part of that. But there is definitely a lane for that. So you talked a little bit about limitations. So you think back to, I don't know, maybe some things that people may have said to you by trying to limit your abilities or trying to put you in this box and say, oh, well, you can't do that, or, you know, you shouldn't be doing this. Like you mentioned, the lady when you were trying to get your driver's license was like, no, like you might have a seizure, like you can't be driving. Blah.
I laugh at it now. Not that I'm making fun of people that have seizures, but I'm just saying it's funny because she was just so misinformed about it. So yeah, that's funny. But I'm sorry, you said to explain some limitations that I had.
Yeah, so
growing up,
limitations that people tried to say you were going to.
Oh, I'm sorry. Driving the car was one, and but it was like my case is so rare. It's like he has it, but he doesn't have it, because it's like they would just say, well, you shouldn't be able to do this. You shouldn't be able. But as I started growing, like I was able to do this, like going down the stairs. Like, when I was younger, I used to like go down the stairs like one and then one. Now I go down the stairs, I can run down the stairs. And it's just like he wasn't supposed to be able to do that. And now, or just actually coming up the stairs, I can run up the stairs like Rocky. And I love when I'm on the train and they see me go up the stairs like that. And I can feel the eyes on my back, and they just be like, wow. Like, so and don't think I don't know I'm blessed. That's why I got an ink there. So my people that said that I would have limitations, they kind of start quieting down once they started seeing me exceed those. And that's what goes into the kind of like the family thing, where you shouldn't have been able to do this, rather. And it's like, well, he doing it. Well, you shouldn't be this confident, or my sister say I'm conceited. Like, you shouldn't have this overwhelming confidence that we don't even have. So
That's
it's
what the
like,
C is for. I'm just playing.
hey man, hey, everyone got a seat. Everyone has one. And it's like, they
just tell them you Leo. Like, I'm not cocky. I'm just a Leo out here.
yeah, hey, it's there. I got all my symbols inked on me. So it's like, yeah, it's I get a lot of flack for it, I guess, because I should just be like with my head down. And because I have this quote unquote situation, and they want to put the labels on me, but I keep knocking them out every day. And that brings a lot of hate and envy. And I'm like, I'm not even there yet, but that brings a lot of envy. And I'm just like, just come sit down and talk to me. We can have a conversation. I would gladly break down my story. You don't have to envy me, but it brings a lot, even with family members. When I pulled up in my Lincoln, they was just like, can you, why? Just be happy that I'm doing my thing. But I don't know. So maybe my family, I love them, but I'm more so of my circle is very small. I love them, but I love them from afar, because I'm operating in my purpose my own way. Like, no, they didn't help me do this. And other than my mother, they won't really see the proceeds when it starts flying. So that's how that goes.
Listen, that's fair. Listen, because back then you didn't want me, and now I'm hot. Y'all on me. Words of
shout out to my Jones.
Okay.
That is so funny. Quick story. One of my new employees, he lives in Texas, and he was like, I'm not sure if you're familiar with Mike Jones. And I was like, excuse me? And he was like, you may have never heard of him, but Michael Jones? And I was like, please don't make me rap the phone number, please. Please. I'm trying to be professional.
Listen, we called that number.
Exactly.
I called it
I'm
too.
like, you think I don't know Mike Jones? But he was like, I mean, you're in Milwaukee, so maybe you don't. And I was like, well, just so you know, Mike Jones was a big deal. Okay.
I already had his number saved in my phone, like when I was young. That was crazy. I was like, Mike Jones.
Everybody knows
281-330-8004.
Exactly.
Hilarious. But
They was like, "Why do you
Um,
have Mike Jones' number saved in your phone?" I said, "It's Mike
why
Jones.
don't you?
He displayed it. I would call him, but I would always get his voicemail and hear stuff about his shows, but never could reach him. But I got his voicemail a couple times, so yeah, that was
That
fun.
is so
he
funny.
wanted us to know.
But no. Look, I didn't took us down a whole little rabbit hole. But
I'm
what
gonna
I was
listen to
gonna
Mike Jones
say
once
is
we get off here now. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
no, but I think people fear what they don't understand, right?
Facts, big facts. Yes.
And
Yeah.
sometimes, and it's crazy because sometimes people can be doing better than you and be envious, you know?
Yes.
And
Yes.
I think it's because they can see the potential, right? It's like they can see what you're on the cusp of or what you're about to do.
Hmm.
So I'm glad that you don't let it stop you. I would imagine, right, that being part of the differently able community, that you would expect your family, right, to have your back and be there and support. And sometimes it's unfortunate when it doesn't show up that way, but I think it is that way for a reason, and
Yeah. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
no, and I was just going to say, and we'll find out what it is in due time.
Definitely. And I think they would be more on my side if I was 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 just okay with it. Like if I was just gonna get Social Security monthly and live off that and just be okay with being just that person. And honestly, growing up, my mother did get Social Security for me as I was growing up, and then once I turned a certain age, it was like leaning over towards me. But I was working since I was 17, and I'm like $600 a month. This ain't no money. Like, what is this? And people live off this. So ain't no disrespect to no one, but I was just like, nah, I can't do that. So if I didn't have the being mentally strong, being able to work and want better for myself, I think they'd be like, oh yeah, we support you because I'm on a level, but I'm trying to exceed higher. Plus, with the added situation, they just for some reason they don't want that, and it doesn't demoralize me. It just make me love you from afar because I'm great at cutting people off, family, friends, or whoever. So yes, oh, she dropped out.
No, it's all good. So, but yeah, and that's very true. And I'm glad that you sought for better for yourself, because I think, you know, I get why I don't know for certain, but I want to say, like, people get comfortable in those crutches, in those safety blankets of saying, okay, well, I'm going to let this label like define me, and I'm okay with the status quo. I'm going to get my check, and I'm just going to do this, and this is it. But for you to want to do better, I think that that's very inspiring, because it's people who don't have situations or were born with no disabilities or being differently able or anything like that, that
Yeah,
still have that mentality where I'm just going to live in this safety net, I'm gonna live in this crutch, and this is what I think all I can do for myself. But I think that's inspiring to be like, no, I want better for myself, and I'm going to do more, and I'm going to show y'all that I am capable of doing more, and you just gonna have to watch me do it.
exactly.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
very cool.
And not only
And
that,
one of
like, you
I'm
had the
sorry.
nerve to first of all be different and then be different at being different. Oh no.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly. And see, another thing I do is I do motivational videos on my Facebook and Instagram, and that's another thing that I do is I try to like just I have conversations with people who always coming to me and say, "Well, Dion, I'm dealing with this," and I say, "You dealing with what?" "Oh, I got this late bill." I said, "Can you see?
Mm.
Can you hear?" They still talking to me about this late bill. What's going on? I said, I'm about to make you forget about all that. Can you see and hear? Yes. You got full control over your body? Yes. You got a roof over your head? Yes. How many options do you got in your refrigerator? Is it more than four? Yeah. You don't have nothing to worry about.
Mm.
That's all miscellaneous stuff. Everything else is control your controllables. Okay. We all have things. We all want to be financially better, but stop taking what's for granted. You got people, Helen Keller, can't see or hear, but we know who she is, right?
Yeah.
So my thing is, when people come to me say I'm going through stuff, I'm like, I'm the wrong person to come to because I'm gonna make you forget it. I'm gonna make you forget what you're going through. Don't come to me. Well, I'm just Can do you sleep do you sleep on the ground? No. All right, well you good. See, I make you forget about whatever you going through.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I do that, and I do it with firm love, because some coming from my window, I'm not gonna give you no tissue. Look, man, they didn't give me no. I had to go out and hunt, so you're not gonna get. Oh, it's okay. I understand. No, I don't understand. I'm not even just talking about being quote unquote differently able. I'm saying there's people on the ground sleep right now. It's homeless people. It's people that can't. That is going through so much. There's always somebody doing worse than you. So when I hear people complaining, no, okay, identify the problem and then do something about the problem. They just want to sit in the issue, and I get people like that far away from me that I can't help. But people that I can, I just try to make them forget about whatever so-called depression they going through.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. That's good, and that tough love in today's world is sometimes what we need, because you can make it happen, and I'm here to show you that if I could do it, you could be doing it too. So no excuses. So I definitely love that. But we're a minute out from our next break, and we've been having a great conversation. But Coolest D, real quick before we go on our break, tell people how they can find more about you, and how they can get set up with this Zoom workout at the end of the month with you and Ebony.
Well, just email me, see is open doors 41 at gmail.com. You can email me there. You can also check out my Instagram. It's coolest dude 14 41. If I'm saying it correctly, it's 1441. And you can see me as cool as D on Facebook, and everything will come up. So I'm very easy to get to. So yeah, let's come do this workout and let's get strong. Summer's still here.
Okay, listen, there's still time for your summer bodies. Okay,
Let's
so
do it.
together.
Let's do it.
That. All right. Well, we appreciate you for tuning in to Brunch with Bestie Show. We will be right back from our next commercial break. Stay tuned.
Welcome back to Brunch with Besties. We are, of course, here with Coolest D, and right before break, we were talking about gratitude. And this morning, while I was out walking, I was like, thank you, God, for my legs, because look, your girl wouldn't be able to get these steps in if I didn't have these legs.
Talk,
Then I
speak.
was like, man, thank you for this park, because it's close to my house. It's beautiful scenery. There's lots of different trails. Like I get to, it's amazing. And then right before I hopped on, I was listening to TD Jakes, and he was talking about how we have this concept of time, right? Where we're like, oh, I wasted all this time, or I didn't do this in this time frame, or like maybe you thought, oh, I was with this girl for this amount of time, right? And now it's wasted. But he was talking about how God is concerned with what we have left, and he talks about the different parables where, he wants to know, well, what did you do? Like, what did your talents yield you, or, how did you invest? So at whatever you did, he's like, that's done and over with. Like if you was sinning, I forgave you, right? But what are you doing now? Like, what are you gonna do with the time that you have left? So I'm glad that you encourage people to not dwell there, because we can spend a lot, and by we I mean me, can spend a lot of time, in that area, like dwelling on what went wrong, or how did I end up here, or how come I didn't do this yet, or whatever. And then kind of, shifting it to, okay, but you can work out now. You can start transforming your body. You can start transforming your mind. You can renew your mind right now if you
Yeah,
choose. And then, 30 days from now, you'll be that much better, right?
exactly.
60
Exactly.
days from now, you'll be even more,
Exactly.
you'll be better off than you were before. So it's a trick of the mind, right? And it's hard to get people sometimes to get out of that.
Mhm.
So I'm glad to hear that you're motivating people to take active steps, and doing something active with your body is always a good way to, get your mind to follow.
Mhm.
Yeah, definitely. And to piggyback on what you said, I always tell people, when they say, I had this, I had, and I say, I don't care about what you had. What do you have?
Mhm. Mhm.
Oh,
Look,
I
that
had.
pretty much
What do
sums up TD Jakes, right?
you know what I'm saying? So that's what I'm saying. I'm like, what do you have? Like, I don't want to hear about what you had, or no, have what's right now, because that's like you said, that's past. So it's about the current. I always have people focus on the current and don't look so much into the future, because we might not even see that. It's good to plan for the future. Don't get me wrong, but we're not even promised the next 20 minutes.
Mhm.
So, you know, make make decisions right now. It's always good to have a savings, and good. I hear people, and I'm not saying go blow your savings on something that's not good, but I tell people, um enjoy every day you get on this earth, because when I was growing up, I would see people pass away, that's elder. Now, you can be 25 and die from a heart attack, or major of a major chronic diseases. So I would tell people, just enjoy life, because you never know when he gonna put that foul card and it's your time. So
Mhm.
yes.
That's good. That is definitely good. Um, but that also makes me think about, so what's next for you as you move forward with C's Open Doors? What is your plan for your business?
My plan for my business is to first get into a big box gym. That's what I'm currently working on now. To get under a more successful trainer, and let them see what I'm doing, because I'm not just coming in like, oh, I got a certification. No, I got a certification. Plus, I also been training. I got like a following. So that's my thing, to do that, and just to help everyone, just to be a better person, because I'm gonna tell you, um when you look better, you feel better about yourself, and that's everyone. You know what I'm saying? When your body feels better, you look better. You're like, man, I feel better. It just comes with the territory. It's natural. So that's what I want to do. But really, it starts with your mental, to be mentally strong. And if you're not mentally strong, you're gonna have different challenges that might demoralize you. So first, I like to just get to working on the mental with whatever client I have. And that's what I do. Like when I was training a client before, she was like, "Well, I can't do it." No, you can do it. So I'm trying to get that mental stability strong first before I do anything with the physical. First, believe you can do it, and then you can, So that's my goal coming up.
That's what's up. And I definitely feel like this episode, you're speaking directly to me with a lot of the things that you're saying, especially about like your
Really?
physical health. Just because this summer is not summering the way I had envisioned it to summer. And I feel like I'm kind of going through the motions of each day. Like it's just kind of blowing past me. And I'm not really like, I don't know if I'm as focused as I normally would be. And I think that's just because I'm trying to figure out what's the next step for me career wise. So my focus is a little off this summer. But that also goes into, women some women, or I'll just speak for me, have this idea like, oh, I got to have my summer body to do X, Y, and Z instead of just doing X, Y, and Z. Like there is no fake body that I'm supposed to have in my head to do what I would like to do. So definitely just getting my mental together so that I can open up to do the physical part of the work that I feel like I should be doing for myself. So yeah, you're definitely speaking directly to me with a lot of the things that you said.
That wasn't purposely.
No, hey, I'm gonna take it.
Okay. Yes, it was. He firing shots.
Okay.
No.
Pow pow. I'm hit. Yes, I love
But
it.
yeah, I mean, I definitely don't have the Jamaica body right now, but look, your girl is going. That's it.
And with only swimsuits. Like you better not take no pants, no bottoms. Like, no.
Oh my God. We'll talk about that later. But in any case, but I hear what you're saying about, so back in the day, I used to like work out hard. Like shouts out to Shannon all around sports fitness because like now I say that I exercise. Like people be like, do you work out? I'd be like, nah, because it's not the same, right? Like I exercise, like I move my body, I go for a walk, I make sure I get my steps, I drink my water, I squat a little bit, do a little ab work, and and I mind my business. But when I was working out with Shannon, it was like every week it was like you gotta outdo yourself from last week. And what I loved about her is she had this whole concept of mental toughness because whatever you came in and you said you couldn't do, she was gonna make you do it literally 100 times. Like she would have those 100 days, so you better not say you can't. Like I used to be like, I can't do burpees until she made me do 100 burpees. I used to say that, oh, I don't run on the track until she made me run 8 times around the track. Had me there all night, but whatever. Kind of wanted to kill her, but she's still alive, and so am I. Look at the Lord. But I think that's what's so amazing about working out as opposed to exercising, which is what I be doing. But I think working out shows you that literally you can change yourself. Like you can literally transform the human being that you are because you can see, like I remember when I used to work out, and again, that's why I'm differentiating between working out and exercising. But when I used to work out with Shannon, like I remember like seeing muscles in places that I didn't even know they could be. I remember being like, okay, you a bad, like now you a bad chick for real. Like people said you was, but nah, this body ain't doing it justice. This the one.
You feeling it. You feeling it. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. You feel it, and you feel different. You know what I mean? Like you get those endorphins. You know what I mean? Like you feel different, and then you don't even want to eat bad because you know it ain't worth it.
Yeah.
You like, nah, dog, I'll pass. It ain't even because you know how athletes be like, nah, I can't drink because I hoop or I do this, I do that. You be like, I'm an athlete now. I can't do that. You want to drink? No, it ain't worth it.
I had a cheat day today, and I felt bad. I was like, "Why did you eat that curry out sandwich? You shouldn't have did that." And I never have cheat days, but my cheat day, I was like, "Why did you do that?" So I hear you on that as far as the diet.
Yeah, and then your body rejects it. Your body is like, "No, our old body would have loved this," but the new body be like, too much grease. It's too heavy. It's too much.
Ooh, yes.
But that's what I love about working out is that it's the physical evidence that we can literally change who we are. And if you can do that physically, you definitely can do that mentally.
Yeah.
And you can literally see, and she used to make us, take pictures and everything.
And shouts out to Fitbrit because she out here transforming herself
Ooh,
every day. Shouts out to her.
every
But
day.
you can literally see the transformation.
Yeah. Yeah. I love it. That was good.
The
Yes.
evolution. It's about the evolution.
Evolution, that's what's up. Evolution.
I love that. That is
That's cool.
awesome. So then I think we definitely want to get into, and I don't think you said it. You kind of alluded to it because we talked about you working out in the bathroom, really talking about your
Mhm.
purpose. But explain to us, what do you believe your purpose on this earth is?
My purpose is to um, help people all around the world. Well, first, no, the purpose is to pray. The purpose is to pray for people because I'm very spiritual. I pray for everyone. Like when I say everyone, I'm saying every human and animal walking this earth. So I think not only God sent me here to give a different just to be a little different. He sent me here to be one of His prayers, and also with that to help everyone. So that's what my purpose is, to give enlightenment to people's lives. And because I get a lot of people saying, "Man, you don't know how just talking to you just made me feel better," and I'll be like, "Man, you about to make me cry, man." But I try to hold it together. But I'm like, I just like enlightening people, just to put a smile, put joy on someone's face. Because, like I said, as a man, we taught oh, you got to be macho. No, I like to smile. I like to have a good time, and I want people to smile. You know what I'm saying? So that's what my purpose is.
I love that. That's what's up. Yes, because I think we were getting in the habit of asking that. We haven't asked that of a guest in a while because we've really had some really strong episodes. So that's one question we haven't asked, but definitely want to make sure that we asked you what you felt like your purpose was. So that's what's up. So thank you for sharing that.
Definitely.
Yes, yes. So,
Yeah.
oh, go ahead, Sherry.
No, I was just gonna say, yeah, I think we got distracted with the other guests because of their stories. So we were like, oh my God, we don't forget our questions. We'll just listen to you talk. But I was wondering, so we're getting close to the end, so we need to do our to-go box. So I wanted to check in with you both and see what we want to take away from this episode. And I will start with you, Bestie.
I'm definitely taking away that nobody could put limitations on you, and you most definitely shouldn't put any limitations on yourself. Our minds are very, very powerful, and the things that we tell ourselves, we most likely believe to be true. So, telling myself positive things and not limiting myself or being in this box because they say that I should be in that box. So that's what I'm taking away.
And Coolest, what are you taking away?
It's that TD Jakes reference that you say. What was it? The do and the don'ts. That TD Jakes reference from earlier. I'm taking that away. That was powerful because it also is in line to what I'm saying. So I'll take some of his and I'll take some of mine. Like Chanel, I'll put the sprinkle in there. So we'll do it like that. Facts.
Perfect. Yeah, he was saying that we always focus on like what we don't have, like what's left or what we lost, but we need to focus on what's left. So like if
Yeah.
you wasted, if you feel like you wasted 35 years doing something, then it's like, okay, well, what you gonna do at year 36? Gonna
Mm.
complain about wasting 35 years, or are you gonna, change or do something? Um, I feel like I have a lot of takeaways. I think one of them is just that you can redefine yourself and be whoever you want to be. Like you use that breakup to catapult you into self-discovery, which I think is always amazing. And you could have looked at that situation and been like, you know what? I don't want to do this because I'm going to expose myself. I didn't want, to draw any attention um to my situation, but instead you were like, you know what, I'm gonna do it and I'm just gonna own it and I'm gonna tell people, you know what, I have cerebral palsy, and they're gonna be shocked, but then I'm gonna shock them even more when I actually am good at this new thing that I'm doing, and I'm gonna inspire other people to do it. And I like the fact that were introspective and considered what your purpose was at that pivotal moment in your life. I think that that's always a smart move, right? To make sure that the next thing that you do, that you're not compounding your own trauma. Because a lot of times when we have traumatic situations, we actually go do self-sabotaging things to make the situation even worse. Or maybe that's just me. I
Oh,
don't know.
they ran across my head, but I don't act on. They run across all our heads, but I didn't act on it.
Yeah. I try not to
Yeah.
act on them too, but they're always in my head. I'd be like, you know
Oh,
what? I should just, and I'd be like, nah.
stab her ties out. No, I'm not doing that. Nah.
Right.
Well, a wise man once said, actually killing a physical form is nothing, but basically, well, he said like make somebody pass away bleeding is nothing, but if you make them pass away breathing, then you're saying something. So kill them while not, you know what I mean, like kill them while they still breathing instead of killing them in the physical form. Like let them be alive so they can see you glow.
Okay. I was like, wait, what?
Yeah, I
Okay.
had to round that up. I had to round it up.
I'm like, brunch with besties is not condoned.
Oh, I cleaned it up. I cleaned it up.
You
I
cleaned it
cleaned
up. Thank you. But no, I agree, right? Like sometimes it is easier. I think what you're saying is it's easier to react and kind of do tit for tat. Like I want to get you
it.
back versus saying like, you know
Hmm.
what, I'm actually going to improve myself and allow
Definitely.
this situation to cultivate me into a better version,
There you
And
go.
if you see it, great. If not, that's cool too, because it's really for my benefit.
There you go.
Alrighty. Well, thanks, guys. Thanks for tuning in to Brunch with Besties. Until next time, peace.
Thank you, guys.